Hey everyone, welcome to the channel, and in this video, I'm going to be revisiting Greenland, just kind of going over some more things that I've learned since I've been playing the map quite a lot if you've watched any of those videos, and I got like my highest score ever on my most recent Greenland video, and since then, I've just learned a lot more about the place, and I'm just going to really expand on the last tips video I made, which I've been wanting to do this for a while, so finally doing it. I think there's like 65 locations. 62 locations. And similar to last time, I'm just gonna kind of go over it in the map maker. This is how I usually make my tips videos, but just edit them. So this will just be a tips video like my last Greenland video, but a bit less edited. Still edit it for sure. So I'm gonna start all the way over here and just kind of go over it all. I'll start out with like the land locations and I'll get into boats, but let's just go into it. Up here, right up here is this place. And the reason I'm doing this with like the map maker and stuff is just I can't really pronounce any of these names too well, and I'm not really gonna try. So I'm just gonna show you where they are. So right here, and this is actually a place that doesn't have like actual meta or anything. It's just in my last video I ran into it a lot, and it's this place with this airport right here. And there's just trucker coverage on the airport. The next location is gonna be farther south, right here on this island, and we have our first vehicle. It's just this green quad, and I think this comes up a couple of times, but it's a bit different each time. The next location is just going to be on this island right here, the very south, and we have another quad. This time it's blue, and we can actually see in the mirror right here the driver is wearing a bright red jacket as well. And as you can see, we have quite a lot of locations kind of in the same area, so let's just cover them all really quickly. Right here, we have another green quad, but this time we can see the person riding it, and they're wearing a black jacket and a white hat. Alright, so right here, and I think they actually fixed this. I think this used to be like in the ocean for some reason, or this island just wasn't here, but we have another quad or motorcycle or something. This time it's red with a circular mirror on the left, and it looks like the driver is wearing a blue coat. Farther south right here, we have one of our first trucker coverages, and a lot of them are just going to be memorizing hair colors, haircuts, all sorts of stuff like that, just like the hair of the person that's taking the coverage. Now over here, we actually have pretty similar trucker coverage with similar looking hair. I can't really tell the difference that well. I think it's a bit lighter though. And then over here, and by the way, we're zooming out, we are right here. We have some more trucker coverage. This time we have someone wearing a black hat. And then just south of that, on this island right here, we have some more brown hair trucker coverage. I think it looks very similar. I'm not sure if it's the same. A bit farther south, we have a pretty well-known one right here. I've seen this one a lot just because it's in a meta world. That's how I learned it. But yeah, it's just a black quad with these mirrors that stick straight up. And then just east of that, we have more trucker coverage. This time, I think the person is wearing either a scarf or a striped hat. And then actually north of that right here, you can see this long line of Google coverage, and that is these snowmobiles, and it just goes on for a pretty long way, right across all the way from here all the way to here. Now along this lake right here, kind of through there, through like this area, and then it also extends all the way up here. We have this smaller white truck, but it isn't covering the town, which is interesting, just the area around it, including this lake. But I did include the town on this video just because I feel like the landscape is kind of easy to recognize, just because it does appear a lot more dry. I guess, I don't know, that's kind of what I figured out when I was playing through Greenland in my videos. Now south of that, right here, on another town in the middle of the ocean, we have some more trucker coverage. This time it's a bit easier to identify. I think it's either a jacket or a coat with like a fur-lined hood, or it's someone with shorter hair. I guess it's easier to identify than the other like brown hair truckers that were. Now going down south to this island right here, we have some more trucker coverage. This time it's pretty easy. Person is just wearing an orange and gray hat, and that was just right here. Zooming out a bit, I was just right here. Going south of that, this is one of my favorite ones in Greenland. It's pretty well known as well. I don't really think I need to explain much, but this is what it looks like. And it's just right here. Now, going south to the capital of Greenland, Nuuk. So Nuuk features this gray Google car, pretty decent sized city. It's definitely the biggest on Greenland. And then just going east of Nuuk right here, we have some more quad coverage. This time it's a black and red quad. And just going south here, we have some more meadows. This time we have our second car coverage, and it's definitely different from the Nuuk one. It's still a silver car, but it's a different type of car. It's like noticeably different than Nuuk, just the town itself. And then south of that, right here, we have some more quad coverage, and this time we have this green basket in the front. This isn't the first time we'll see a basket in this video, but this one's a bit different than the other ones. We also have invisible hair as well. Now on kind of the southern tip of the island, we have this large cluster of coverages. And the ones in the water you see here, these are boat coverages. We'll go over those later once I'm done going through all the land coverages. So right here, we actually have another car coverage, and this one's a bit unique because right away it's not like super obvious, but we have this antenna right here, and then we also have these bars coming up from the side. You can see one right there, and right there. So it is kind of like roof rack coverage, but it's just not super obvious. And moving north from there up to here, we have some more quad coverage, and it looks like there's maybe 2 people on this quad. I can't really tell, but there's a purple thing here, there's a guy in the mirror, and there's a orange thing here. I don't know, it's unique. It's different. And that actually all goes all the way over to here as well. And then over here, the east of that, we have some more quad coverage, and this time it's a pretty high angle on the person. And again, they're just wearing a hood. You can see right here. Going south from there, we have this place right here. And again, we have some more quad coverage. This time it's green, like a lot of the others, but it's only the left side of it is visible. And also like a sunset going on here. It's pretty cool. Oh. And I think there's people following. Interesting. Alright, I didn't notice that. But south of that, right here, this is definitely a bigger town. And it's another car coverage. So I think this might be the last car coverage that we'll see in this video. And this one's pretty obvious. It's just a red vehicle. And then just a bit east of that, we have some more trucker coverage, and this time it's just some more hair. Now that's kind of the end of the southern part of Greenland. Now we're going to the eastern coast, all the way up here. Now a lot of these are boats, and I'll get into that later. But there are a couple of land coverages that I'll go over. Starting off with right up here, and once again we have another quad coverage. I think it's kind of hard to tell, but there's 2 corners that are visible here. And going south to this island right here, I think this island all has the same coverage from what I've seen, and it's just this red quad right here. And then moving north right up to here, we got some more trucker coverage. This time trucker's got a blue hat on. Now I think we're reaching the end of the land coverage pretty soon. Got one location up here. Like I said earlier in the video, it wouldn't be the last time we saw a basket, and we have one here. This time I think it's made of wood, and we got the driver wearing a purple hat as well. Final 2 land coverages that we'll be going over, and then we'll be looking at boats. And it's interesting because that boat right there is actually one of the boats we're going to be looking at for the boat coverages as well. And you can see that the trekker just gets in the boat. They just get in the boat that we're going to be looking at later. But anyways, back to land. This trucker coverage, I don't think is too extensive, but we just got this red hat or some kind of fabric, and then just north of that we got Zackenberg, and we got some more trucker coverage. This time we just got some sort of gray hat as well. Alright, so that kind of marks the end of the land coverages. Now we're gonna get into boat coverages, and this shouldn't take too long. I'll kind of speed through it real quick, but once again, we're going to be starting on the west coast and moving our way east. So, the first boat coverage is right here by, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, but it's a sailboat. It's a wooden sailboat. And then just south of that, right here, we have this red and blue boat. And this will actually pop up a couple times, so I'll show you where else you can find this boat. And then also right here, and I think it's the same boat, it might be slightly different, but it's a similar looking boat. And this one appears 4 times, right here. So the next boat coverage is going to be right here. And this is one that will pop up a lot, and I'll just show you all the locations for that one as well. And I don't even think I'll full screen it for all the locations. You can just see in the top right corner for these ones because there's so many of them. But it's this boat with this orange roof, and this one pops up quite a lot. So I'll just show you. You can see in this screen right here. It appears right here. Right here. 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 And here as well. Now finally we have a different boat, and it's just on this island right here. And the coverage is pretty limited, it just kind of goes through here, as you can see, with this one lane of coverage. And this boat is kind of like this inflatable looking one, and it also appears all the way down here. Now, I think that's all of those kind of repeating boats out of the way, so let's get into some different ones. Starting off with Nuke right here. As you see, there's 2 kind of routes that the different boats go. So the first one, this northern one, looks like this. It's kind of like this flat one, and it goes all the way from right here in Nuke all the way north to right here. And then this southern route has this metal boat. Now back to this southern part down here, we have quite a lot of boats, I believe. So this one, this is the light. I call this one the light boat because it has like this siren light looking thing right here on top of it. And you can kind of find that one all the way throughout this kind of area right here. And then up here between these 2 land coverages that I covered earlier, there's a little bit of water coverage. And it features a pretty generic looking white boat. And now between the red car coverage and this town up here, there's a bit of water coverage as well. And this one also features siren or light boat as well. It might be a bit different. I think that's all of the boats down there. Now we have a couple more, a lot up here. So the first one is going to be over west. And I think this one does appear a couple times, but there's a different camera angle for the other coverages featuring this boat. And then moving a bit south, I like to call this boat the table boat because this kind of looks like a table. Kind of these broken chunks of coverage. A bit farther south, you can find this boat, which will look similar to one that we're going to be seeing later in the video, but not quite the same. It's orange. The one that I'll be looking at later is red. And then right here, we have this blue, black, and white boat. It kind of reminds me of the Estonian flag. You know what that looks like? Well, it is what it looks like. There's blue, black, and white. So, and then north, I think this is the final boat from this area. And it's kind of a similar one, as I was saying earlier, to that other red boat with that same glass shield. But this time it's kind of a higher camera angle. 2.5 boat coverages to go over. So the first one is going to be up here. I like this peninsula kind of with this opening. And I covered, this is with the wooden basket on the quad. and just over here, all along all this coverage. And this is the pole. I call this one the pole boat because it has a large pole. Now, I kind of just learned this when I was making this video, and I'm surprised I didn't figure it out earlier. But you could tell when you're on this side because it's the same boat or a very similar boat on this side. But the difference is, yes, you have that same pole, but this time you're facing the front of the pole, and on the other one you're facing the other side of the pole, looking that way. And the final bit of boat coverage is just right up here. Last parts of land coverage I covered as well, and it kind of ties in with the coverage we saw here. Is this red boat, and the landscape is also pretty unique. It looks quite dry, but yeah, there's this red boat, and it does kind of look like that orange boat that we saw earlier. Now keep in mind that all the locations I showed in this video are just locations with metas. There's a lot more in Greenland that will just take memorization, but there's enough in Greenland that you can pretty much memorize every location. Keep that in mind. I didn't show you 100% of the locations in this video, just the ones with metas that you can memorize pretty easily. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, consider subscribing if you enjoy the content and you're new. I'm trying to hit 300 subscribers by the end of the summer. I'll see you in the next one.